Hey guys, welcome back to the Witchcraft Cycle Workshop. So, if you've been following along, we are chopping one of Ray Ray's bikes and, oh, there's the sirens. Anyway, we're chopping one of Ray Ray's bikes and it's headed to the sandblaster to get cleaned up. So, in the meantime, if you've noticed in the background, the witch has been sitting here for, a good while. It's always something with the witch. If you follow along to our channel, you'll remember I had it out at Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue and down at Flathead Rally Point. I don't know what possessed me, but I put it in the dirt drags, which was more like the gravel drags, and it was kind of rough, pretty bouncy. It wasn't real good for the witch. The next day on Sunday, she died on me. We ended up trailering it home. And yeah, I turned the gas valve the wrong way, left it open. The float stuck on the carburetor. That flooded the motor full of gas. So I got the carburetor off. Parts are coming for it. Got to get a float seal and all that. With a kick-only bike, that means I had to kick and kick and kick to get the gas out of the crankcase. But we got it cleaned out. We got it fired up, and yeah, the carburetor needs work. I think I'm also going to put a set of points in it, spark plugs, that type of thing, give it a tune-up. In the meantime, one of the other issues was the front forks. I had one leaking anyway, not bad, but a little bit. But one of the things I noticed, especially down there on the gravel, in the rough, at full extension, since this is a light bike and since it's a chopper, not a lot of weight on the front end, you'd hit a bump when that front wheel came off the ground, you'd hit full extension and it would hit pretty hard. So I decided to take the front forks apart and take a look at the rebound spring. So here's what we found. So on one of my previous videos, I did a video on how to put new seals. I think that was on the Heritage, how to rebuild your front forks. If you want to check that out, you can, but here's your valve that goes down in the tube. That goes all the way through, and then that mounts to your fork lower. And that's your suspension movement. What you end up having is you have a rebound spring, and then you have your main spring. And what happens is, like I say, when the front tire comes off the ground, this thing goes all the way down and your rebound spring hits the bottom. So here's the rebound spring we took off of this set of forks. And if you take a look, I can literally, they're pretty weak. So I salvaged a different pair of rebound springs, and you can kind of see the difference. Same height, but a little bit heavier wire on this one, and a little more compression. So we're going to swap out to heavier rebound springs to hopefully stop some of that jarring when I hit a bump. We're going to put all new seals in, and I think once I get them reassembled, I might even try, these aren't bad, they're machine finished, but I might even try to polish them up a bit. But that's what we're going to do next is I'm going to get these front forks back together and put different rebound springs and some new seals in them and see if that does any different. So follow along. Here we go. So we're going to take this piston. Basically what this does, this acts as a shock absorber inside your front fork, moving the oil from side to side. We're going to take these little plastic sleeves and replace them. You can buy a kit that has all these parts to rebuild your front forks. I think the last one I bought was like $75, $80 or something. But those plastic seals go on there. Very simple. And then we're going to take our valve with our new heavier rebound spring, slide that in there, our main spring, Make sure it comes all the way through. Just tip this down. Our top cap has a little rubber O-ring. We're going to replace that with a new one. And then, being a lighter bike, I'm going to see if I can't do this by hand without getting the jack out. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. Now, so let's do it this way. Piece of 1.5 inch PVC fits nicely right there. Take our top nut and guide it into the pin so it doesn't get away from us. There we go. You don't want to cross thread it. One of the next things we're going to do is replace our bushings. There's a little gap in there. We're just going to spread it open enough to slide the old one off. Get rid of the top one. Our new lower one will just snap into place. The new upper one will go on when we put our fork lower on, which is what we'll probably do next here. Need to clean this out a little bit. I'm just going to use some brake clean. These fork lowers can get a lot of crud in the bottom of them if you haven't done an oil change on your fork lowers in quite a while. You'll be surprised at how nasty these things can get. Just put a paper towel in there and mop some of that up. All right, got our fork lower. Okay, put our cup on there. Slide that. Put a new copper washer on the end of our little Allen head bolt. That is 6 millimeter. It's not standard, it's 6 millimeter. You don't want to strip it out. All right, and what I think I'm going to do next, we're going to clamp the lower. the new upper bushing. Goes down in there. Little tool I made, you can buy them. You buy them, they're metal. I took a piece of 1.5 inches, split it, opened it up a little bit to where it fit over. We want to get that bushing lined up and driven down into the fork lower. There you can hear a little sound difference. I got it driven all the way down. Steel washer goes on next. And your new seal, the numbers will go upward. That'll be the underside. That's the top side. Get that started. One of these days I'm going to buy the metal one that's made for this. It'll probably work a whole lot better. But this gets the job done if you're on a budget. Lord knows I'm on a budget. You want to drive it down, seat it to where you can get your clip in there. You take a little screwdriver and make sure that clip seats down in the little channel. Final thing is to put the rubber boot on. I think I'm going to wait on that though. I think what I'm going to do next, I think I'm going to clean these up and polish them a little bit while they're off. All right, got our buffer. Got a buffing wheel on there. I don't know, I think I picked it up at Harbor Freight or something. One of these days I'm going to get an actual bench motor for the buffer wheel. It'd be a lot easier to have the buffer bench mounted and work the lower over it, but this works. But load it up with a little compound. Starting to get a little more shine to it. It just takes time. Go over the whole thing. If you really wanted to, you could sand this down with wet dry sandpaper. Say start like with 220, 320, 400, 600, 800. Then go to your polishing. I've seen guys actually get this mirror finished almost like chrome. I'm not going to bother doing that on this one, but I am going to just sit here and polish them up a bit just to kind of clean them up. All right, I've switched from this sewing coarser cotton pad to a loose, softer cotton pad. We're just going to use a little good old Mother's on this. And just take a dry rag this time and buff it up a little. But yeah, a little bit more of a shine. Dull, shiny. Like I say, if I really wanted to, I could sit here with wet dry sandpaper and sand this up to a mirror finish. But it's just the old witch. and I don't think I'm going to bother. So we're just going to keep plugging away at this, finish it up. Well, I don't know if the camera picks this up real well, but there's the one I haven't done, and there's the one I've been working on. Like I say, if I wanted to do some wet sanding on it and really smooth it up, I could bring it to a mere shine, but we're just trying to clean them up a little bit. So we'll get done polishing. We'll put the cap on here, and then we'll fill it full of oil. All right, take our little rubber boot. Work it over. It just snaps into that little groove. We have a chrome cap, but nothing really holds it on there. I'm going to take a little plain old silicone sealant. And basically we're just going to glue that thing on there. Had a little squish out here. Clean that up. All right. These are not the original front forks on this 74. I honestly don't know what they came off of. So I'm gonna just add a generic amount. Fork oil, average amount is 10 to 11 ounces. I'm just going to put 10 ounces in. Close enough, since I really don't know what these forks came off of. But there we go. That's basically redoing one front fork. We're going to do the exact same thing to the other fork, and then we're going to get them back on the bike. All right, so there we go. 2 front forks, rebuilt, reinstalled, cleaned up. Get the front wheel on, fender, brake, that sort of thing. We'll finish it up, and then maybe on the next time we'll redo the carburetor, the points, put new spark plugs in it, that sort of thing. But hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, if you liked it, please click that like and subscribe button. We'll catch you next time.